boxes and getting a PROTOSS, I think. I think that's what I saw. Could be wrong. I saw the little animation funky thing. And we do see this Colossus coming out really fast, but there's no... There it is. That's so hard to see. I guess he did chrono boost the robotics. And he's also researching the range, which is going to enable him to just cut through Day9's forces like butter. Day9 does have a couple of ghosts and some marines and some marauders, and if he gets really, really nice positioning off, and as falls asleep at the keyboard, he's going to be able to kill the Colossus, but really otherwise it's just going to kill everything, which is going to be awesome. Az, though, doesn't have that many sentries. He's got a single sentry, and the force fields really just massively multiply the effectiveness of Colossus. Day9 finally salvaging his bunkers, hopefully, in a minute, and he's got a medevac out. Looks like he's getting ready to move out. In the meantime, Az is also moving out. Day9 is going to scan this, and he is going to realize that Az is advancing forward, and he's hopefully going to be able to get into a very nice position. Does look like he's just clustering all of his stuff right above his natural. +1 weapons finally coming up for Day9, and nothing else incredibly exciting happening. Az is just moving back and forth between. He's actually got Zealot legs coming up, and that's going to, again, enable him to just cut through Day9's forces, just because Zealots do a decent amount of damage when they're on top of Marines and Marauders, and they're relatively hard to kill. They're not the easiest thing in the world. Colossus just kind of go squish, but Zealots are really hard to kill. Like, Zealots have 150 hit points. Colossus, whatever, have 350, so 2 Zealots is, like, about as tough as a Colossus. I mean, that's just kind of awesome. Colossus do have a little bit of armor, but they also take bonus damage from, like, everything. I mean, they're armored mechanical massive, so anything that does bonus damage to anything, except like Hellions and Reapers, do bonus damage to Colossus. And they can be targeted as there, so I guess what I'm trying to say here is that Zealots are harder to kill than Colossus, which is a little bit backwards. And we do see that both players are just kind of tooling around and waiting for the other person to get out of position a little bit. Az is just messing around with the Zelnog watchtower, and because he's got all of this vision, if we just pop on over to the Az cam, we can see that he's got all of this area of the map, and he's actually expanded to the 9 o'clock main, and that's going to pay off momentarily. Day9 has not scouted that. Day9 is proceeding to gain. Az is actually dropping down a couple of cannons down by his proxy pylon, and Az is moving all of his stuff up. Looks like he's getting ready to do a little bit of harass with those Colossus. Day9 in the meantime has actually produced several Vikings to deal with those Colossus, just to make them a little bit easier to kill. It does not look like he's all set to move out, and Az, again, is just sitting on this watchtower, so he's got perfect vision, so he's going to know exactly when Day9 does anything. Day9's Vikings coming down, looks like for a little bit of harass, but Az is moving up. Az is just moving. It's a really interesting move. And Day9 is coming down. Day9 is going to be caught completely out of position right here. We can see a couple of Zealots coming up for Az, just to make this even worse, and a force field going off, trapping about a quarter of Day9's army, because the other 3/4 were just getting butchered by Colossus. Day9 wondering what was going on with Az's forces. That was honestly amazing by Az. I'm not sure if that was intentional. I hope that was intentional, just because he did have vision of Day9 just immediately moving out, and he could move up just a little bit there. And Day9 is essentially losing because he got a little bit over aggressive, and he lost all of his marauders, and he got caught out of position. I'm not really sure how much the over aggressive is really in it, but that move by Az was just brilliant. The entire army of Day9 just strung out right in front of his Colossi. That was absolutely beautiful. So this is Rainbows commentating an exciting game, and you should subscribe to my channel because I am awesome.